We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm happy to be here on time today. I mean, I guess I say on time, but I missed the cross. So even though I was late, I'm technically on time, albeit late.
You don't need to explain.
The roads were insane out there.
Did you float here today? I mean, honestly.
Well, my parents had flown in, right? Mm-hmm. So I was a little bit delayed getting out of the door, admittedly, a little bit later than I wanted to. But the traffic was just horrendous. Yeah. I mean, I saw like 10 accidents down 24.
Was it a lot of the spin out accidents? That's what we've been talking about.
See, I didn't see it. I only saw aftermath, so I don't know. It just looked like they.
Did you run into standing water on the roads?
A little bit, but nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. But it was just a pain.
Yep.
It's like, it's rain. It's rain. Let's all go a little bit slower so we don't have to go way slower.
Yeah.
That would be nice. We got a lot to get to today, and I'm grateful for you guys to join us. Excuse me. Whoa. Choking a little bit. I'll be all right. I want to start with a major announcement. We have a major announcement. Do you know that we have a major announcement, Mason?
I read that we had a major announcement.
Joan, did you hear about the major announcement?
I read about it as well.
Okay. I don't know why I'm announcing things if you guys already know.
Well, we got an audience that needs to know.
All right. I'll announce it.
And you're just the guy for it.
But I want you guys to be surprised in the reaction, and you already know.
Oh, wait. I don't know about this, though, right?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
We can fake
what are you
it.
talking about?
Fake it till we make it.
Let's fake it. All right. So we had an event lined up for Hop Springs on September 30th.
Yeah.
And we love doing events with our audience. Mm-hmm. And we were trying to figure out a way to involve some of our TPUSA friends, especially the local chapters around here, the high school and the college chapters. And it was quick. It was a quick turnaround. And we kind of eyeballed the calendar, and we realized that October 14th is not only Charlie Kirk's birthday, but also the National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
So we have moved the date officially for our event on the 30th to October 14th, and we want you to join us at Hop Springs for that National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. We're going to be together with those Turning Point chapters. We're going to be honoring Charlie's life, his faith, the movement he built. It's going to be a night where we're going to stand strong. We're going to remember a patriot, a Christian patriot, this guy that didn't waver in truth, gave the ultimate sacrifice, and we're going to carry forth that mission that he was so proud of rooted in faith, family, and freedom. You'll have a chance to connect with TPUSA chapters, learn how to get involved, and learn how to start your own TPUSA chapters. And it's all going down at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. Tuesday, October 14th. More details are going to be at 997WTN.com, and we're going to try and blow this up as big as we can, and we want everybody to show up and show out for that. So please join us October 14th for CK Day.
This is going to be huge.
It's going to be awesome.
Are you shocked? I'm shocked.
This is a big announcement.
Big surprise.
This is crazy.
I'm glad that you guys didn't know anything about it beforehand.
Absolutely love it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know I do that now, like just unironically when I'm talking with like the wife.
Good.
She'll be like, "Are you hungry?" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah." She'll be like,
Creepy.
like, "Do you smell that? Was that you?" "Oh yeah."
Yeah. Not how I intended it to be used, but I'm glad that's made it into the vocabulary.
It just flows. It flows all the time. Oh yeah. Hop Springs, guys. We want to see you out there. Bring your flags. Bring your Bibles. It's going to be a good night. That's going to be October 14th. You're going to hear a lot about it, and we're really excited to be able to do this and to celebrate Charlie Kirk with you guys. So please join us out there. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I got the notification today. I had ordered one of the Charlie shirts from the Turning Point merch.
Oh, yeah.
And I got this email, and it was like, please be patient with us. We've received almost 1 million orders, and it's going to be about 12 weeks.
Let's go.
And then I got the email on my way in today that it's being delivered, so I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty excited. Yeah.
Hardworking champions over there.
Yeah. So I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how they've put together any of this. I was on with Murphy's show yesterday, and we were talking about the staff and the turnaround for that memorial. 7 days. 7 days they turned this around. I made the point last night. I'll make it again. Yesterday was supposed to be the day that the Turning Point staff returned to the office. After last Wednesday, they shut everything down and they said, don't come to the office. And it was Thursday morning that the entire staff showed back up at the office, ready to work. Nobody at that office has taken any time off, has taken any. They've only worked harder. And that was on full display on Sunday at the memorial. I was just unbelievably blessed to be in the building and enjoy the entire thing. And that's what we did. I mean, it was a worship service. You could feel the Holy Spirit in the building. There were so many moments where we just had goosebumps and tears in our eyes. I was just grateful that I got to have my wife with me by my side, and all of our friends, all of my coworker, with the Turning Point family. Really, just to be able to be with them was just a blessing in and of itself. And it was tough though. All of us were constantly just feeling like we were waiting for Charlie to walk out. It still feels so surreal and so fake. It's crazy. And it blows my mind that come tomorrow, we're officially hitting the 2-week mark. It feels like it's been about 15 minutes and 10 years at the exact same time. I don't know how to describe it any other way, but that's how it feels. And we were so grateful to be there in the building. We weren't sure we were going to get in. And when we got to Arizona on Friday night, my wife and I, as we were driving from the airport, we grabbed a rental car. I said to her, I said, listen, if we don't get in tomorrow, because we knew, for starters, the level of security, the amount of interest, the hundreds of thousands of people that were showing up, they actually tracked 227,000 cell phones in and around State Farm Arena on Sunday. 227,000. So we were as we were driving in, I remember saying to my wife, I said, listen, if we don't get in, like, we can't be upset. Like, we have to just take a deep breath and say that's okay. That's just how it's going to be. Because I didn't want to bother people. I didn't want to bother the Turning Point family. And I knew how hard they were working. I was like, the last thing that they need is me saying, hey guys, I'm in the back of the crowd. Can you let me in? Like, that's not what we were going to do. But somehow, some way, we did get in. And we're going to talk about that as well. I do want to start with the memorial at headquarters. And I touched on this a little bit yesterday, but we had such limited time because of my flight delays that I do want to dive into it a little bit more. We were so grateful, my wife, myself, my family, Turning Point, for the amount of love and support that we got from this community. We had set up a drop point at Borough Holistic Health for you guys to drop off letters and challenge coins, and we were going to bring them to the memorial at headquarters. And this is a building that I have worked in. I had my office in the war room, and it's a building I know very, very well. And it was very it gave us a lot of closure just being there. It was like a full circle moment. And when we got there to drop off the letters, we pull up to 4940 East Beverly Road, and we see police cars blocking both sides of the street, and grateful for the Phoenix Police Department. And as we're walking up, the police officer steps out. Hey guys, how you doing? And I knew what he was doing. He's just making sure that we're not crazy, because what we've seen in the aftermath of the assassination of Charlie Kirk had been a lot of crazy. So I'm grateful for that. So we spoke to the police officer. He said, yep, go do your thing, guys, and enjoy. And we walk up on this memorial. This memorial has to be a quarter mile long at this point. And it is vast and it's sprawling. And one of the first things I realized was the attention to detail that everybody had placing things at the memorial. Nobody was covering up anybody else's letters, pictures, drawings, flags, flowers. Everything was placed so carefully and so lovingly as to not disturb the contributions of other individuals and what they brought to the memorial. That was very apparent to me from the jump. And we were there at 11 o'clock at night, and no, it wasn't 11 o'clock. It was even later than that. It was like after midnight. Time zones are hard for me. Bear with me. So we're there, and we're looking at everything, and dude, we were overcome with emotion. And we had our own things to drop off, things that you guys brought to Borough Holistic Health. We had challenge coins from the Mount Juliet Police Department, the Lebanon Police Department, HSI for Kentucky and Tennessee. We had TBI's challenge coin. We had a lot of stuff, and we took it all in, and we found some great spots to put your letters, and to be able to bring a little bit of Middle Tennessee there for our friends at Turning Point. I'm so grateful for you guys and blessed. But the memorial was just unbelievable at headquarters, overwhelming. And I remember saying to my wife after we left there when we were talking, I was like, if we don't get in, then this has to be okay. We have to be okay with what we got here. And we're like, yes, that's great. We got to the hotel, and it was 1:30 in the morning. We're sitting down. I had not received an email from press. That was the easiest way for us to get in. Was we applied to be press at the event, and I knew that we would get approved. But I knew it was a way that I didn't have to personally reach out to anybody. I could do all that online. We got approved for press, and I'd seen the approval come through, but we didn't see anything after that. And we were seeing other emails about how we were, where you were going to enter, if you were an attendee and the like, but I didn't see anything on press. It was 1:30 in the morning, and I'm sitting there in bed. My wife is falling asleep, and I'm looking, and I find in junk mail that you need to pick up your press credentials by 2 a.m. 2 a.m. It's 1:30. So I jumped out of bed, got dressed, ran to a different hotel to meet up with the individuals that had press credentials, and we got our credentials. And I met up with the entire team, and it was great, and just hugs and all that. Then when we were heading to the event that morning, we woke up. I got back to the hotel. It was probably like 2:30. Fell asleep probably about 3 o'clock. We woke up at 4:30 because we understood how many people were there. When I went to pick up my press credentials, there was already like tens of thousands of people lined up and waiting to get in the arena. So we knew we had to be there early. When we showed up on site, I'll be honest with you, it was a bit nerve-wracking to have that many people waiting. And I remember looking at my wife and feeling like, I don't know how safe this is. And that's just an honest reaction of what ran through my head. And shout out to Secret Service, shout out to Phoenix Police Department, shout out to all the law enforcement agencies that were there, and the audience also, because it was as safe as could be. I didn't hear of any horror stories. I didn't see anything firsthand of anything dangerous. And I think that's a credit to the police and the Secret Service. But when we got there, we see the hundreds of thousands of people waiting, and we're like, this is wild. That's when I got a text from my friend Joe Bob, and he's a Turning Point contributor, hosts a show on Real America's Voice, and we decided to meet up with him and his wife, who is very, very pregnant, and we met up in a hotel lobby, and we wanted to walk over together, and we were with also his producer for his TV show, his producer's wife, and a few other Turning Point employees. We had we were amassing a crew of about 12 people. When we got to the venue, once we decided we had our crew and we were going to go, it was foreshadowing for how special the event was going to be, because when the crowd of 100,000 people understood that we were staff, the crowd parted for us to get through. I've never seen anything like that. A crowd so gracious, so kind, and so caring to allow us to walk through. We got into the building at about 6:30 a.m., and it was empty. It was just staff roaming around. We were taking it all in. They had this is stuff that you didn't see on the live stream, but throughout the arena on the concourse, they had photos of Charlie. And photos of Charlie and his family, and photos of Charlie and Turning Point staff and the like, all set up just beautifully. It was a memorial service. It was just like what you would see at any memorial service, albeit on a much grander scale. And as the event kicked off and the crowd rolled in, that same eerily quiet nature was still pretty prominent. For as many people as was there, the somber nature of what was happening was just, it was heavy. It was heavy. But when we got into the worship service, you could feel that heaviness start to lift a little bit, and you could feel the Holy Spirit come into that building. And we were overwhelmed. We were overwhelmed. Brandon Lake did an unbelievable job, and I know that you've seen the rendition of Hallelujah, and that echoing throughout the building was just unbelievable. And then we saw over and over statements of faith, proclamations of Jesus. And the event was unlike anything I've ever been a part of, and I was blessed to be a part of it. My wife and I, we ended up not really working much. We sat, we worked a little bit in the morning, but for the majority of it, once the worship service started, we were in our seats, and we were, I don't know how we got as close as we did, but we were pretty close. And I remember my wife and I just feeling completely unworthy of the seats that we were in this memorial service. And it was a beautiful, beautiful service. And I just have to tell you, the Turning Point staff is excellent. There is nothing like this staff anywhere in the country, anywhere on the planet. This staff is so young, so young. And I've talked about the lack of sleep I've had. Multiply that by 10. That's the lack of sleep that the Turning Point staff has had. They turned this event around in 7 days, and I cannot tell you enough how unbelievable of a job that those guys did. The core of the staff is under 25 years old. The core of the staff is under 25. This is the youngest staff in America. And what they were able to do is nothing short of groundbreaking. And they filled up a stadium. And I posted a reel on my Instagram page of one of the videos of Charlie talking about what Turning Point does and how great the staff is. And if you don't like the intensity, you don't like to strive for excellence, go work at the Department of Labor. It's so true. But the staff deserves so much praise for what they were able to do. And we're going to talk a little bit today about the memorial service, and then we're going to get back into some regular news. I know there was a lot of discussion yesterday and also at the memorial services where Trump announced that there was going to be the big press conference on autism. And I know a lot of people want to dive into that. We're going to get into that as well. And there's a lot to cover. But we're going to talk a little bit about the reaction to the Charlie Kirk rally on the way. There is a lot to get to. Hang out with us. Join us on Rumble. Join us on YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe, all the things, and stick around. It's 9:24. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hannon. I got to tell you about my friends over at Better Water LLC. I tell you all the time, you could have some nasty stuff in your water. This is the water you're making coffee with in the morning, the water you're bathing in. You're bathing your kids and your grandkids in it. Oof. What could be in there? I'll tell you. Sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, E. coli. Nasty stuff. Now, you might not have it in there. You might. But one way to know for sure is have Better Water test your water for free. They'll do it for you for free. And they'll tell you if there's nothing. They'll tell you if you need some help. And if you need some help, they got the help. They offer a range of options from reverse osmosis to specialized filters and UV lights. Better Water has you covered. They can clean it up and take that nasty stuff out. These guys are local, based in Smyrna, and they serve all of Middle Tennessee. You've probably already tasted their work, and you just don't know it because they're filtering the water at your local favorite coffee shop and the hospitals around town. But it's time for you to stop drinking the junk out of your tap, or at least know what is coming out of your faucet. So give Better Water a call today, 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Make sure you tell them that Chris Hand sent you, and find more info online, betterwater.com. 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. So I've been getting a lot of text messages about Jody Barrett and this new ad where he brings up the ad brings up Charlie Kirk. And a lot of people are like, that doesn't sit right with me. I mean, we've been flooded with text messages about that, and I've been flooded with them on my show, and I'm sure that the other hosts have as well. And one of the things that I've responded to these individuals, I've said, I don't like it either. I don't. But I said I haven't spoken to Jody, and I don't know if Jody even knows this ad is running. But after I've received a few more text messages this morning, I was like, screw it up. Let me just text Jody. So I texted Jody, and I said, getting a lot of negative reaction to your new ad using Charlie. And he said, I haven't heard it. Who's it from? And I said, I'm not sure. I'll listen closer. It's probably a company doing this. And he goes, that's not me. I don't like that stuff. Let me know who paid for it, and I'll track them down. Thanks for the heads up. So I just wanted to clear that up to anybody texting in. And I had the kind of assumption of that as well. Jody doesn't seem like a guy that would do that on his own. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we have reached out to Jody Barrett about the ad, and maybe it'll change. Maybe it won't. Maybe they'll keep running. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but it wasn't Jody's doing. He didn't write or produce the commercial himself. That being said, I think the messaging in the commercial is pretty factual, pretty true. But it feels icky. It feels like you're capitalizing off of something that you shouldn't. But that's where Jody Barrett is at on it, and I wanted to bring that to the air for you guys because of all the text messages that we've been receiving. On the way, we're going to talk a little bit about Erica Kirk and what she went through at the memorial service. We're going to talk a little bit about the reaction that we're seeing from the lefties. It blew my mind to see them calling it a Nazi rally. I saw a Babylon Bee headline, and the Babylon Bee said, Nazi rally inspires millions to love and forgive their enemies. Yeah, pretty on point. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 9:32. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The rain has moved out, but we still have a flash flood warning for northwestern Giles County, east central Lewis County, and southwestern Murray County. It extends until 11:15 this morning. President Trump has taken to the podium at the United Nations to address the General Assembly there. But the teleprompter isn't working.
I feel very happy to be up here with you, nevertheless. And that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
The president went on to speak about America's comeback before the General Assembly.
Growth is surging. Manufacturing is booming. The stock market, as I said, is doing better than it's ever done. And all of you in this room benefit by that.
Now, his remarks continue at this moment. He's got a printed copy of the speech before him now. We're going to update you with any news from that speech throughout the morning. The Secret Service now believes that it disrupted an operation that could have disrupted cellular service across the entire New York City. It started as an investigation earlier this year into threats being made to several people, including one with direct access to President Trump. Officials now say that it led to the discovery of locations around New York City where they seized hundreds of servers, more than 100,000 SIM cards, and enough equipment to flood communication systems with 30 million texts a minute. ABC News contributor Donald Mihalik is a retired U.S. Secret Service agent.
They found empty apartments with servers and server walls capable of making millions and millions of phone calls in and around New York City and the world that could potentially cripple New York City and other parts of the world.
Sources tell ABC News the group behind that operation is believed to be linked to China. That is the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and I know that you are tired of the back pain, the neck pain, the knee pain, the sciatica, the numbness, the bulging discs, but what are you going to do about it? I mean, you have a couple options. You could go see a doctor that's going to prescribe you pills or suggest surgery. You could do that. Or you could try a less invasive route with some experts that understand how to deal with chronic pain and how to fix it and make sure it never comes back. I'm talking about Dr. Ashley and Dr. Mitchell. These guys are the best in healing your pain for good, and they're not trying to break the bank. What they have going on right now is the Big Daddy Trump special. That's just $12. And that $12 lands you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. That's right, all of that for only $12. No surgery, no opioids. What you're going to get is non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. So grab your MRI and get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it for good. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com.
Why am I so happy and so excited that Jimmy Kimmel lied to his audience?
He had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points.
I'm excited because the liberal and the legacy media have been lying about Republicans for years, and people like this are finally taking notice.
I didn't think much of the death because from what I had heard, Charlie Kirk had been a neo-Nazi who wanted me to be dead. He didn't support my existence and whatnot. And now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I feel like I had been lied to. I really took some time after the thing happened to kind of look into his videos, look into his beliefs, look into his thoughts and who he was as a person. And to me, he seemed like a well-mannered family man. He believed in the country. He believed in the greater good of the country. He had his own political beliefs and opinions. And sure, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with him on, but I never would stand for him dying or being murdered because of his beliefs. And I think I may be starting to lean a lot farther right in response to everything that's taken place.
$9:39, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Donald Trump currently addressing the United Nations General Assembly. No teleprompter. No teleprompter. I would join it live, but it's gonna be about 2.5 hours long. So we'll monitor that. We'll bring you the relevant information as it becomes available. In the meantime, we're talking about the reaction that we're seeing from the Charlie Kirk Memorial over the weekend in Phoenix. Destiny, do you know Destiny? He's a liberal streamer. He's called for conservatives to be afraid of being shot. He's called for conservatives to be shot. He's a lunatic. He's a rabid leftist lunatic. That being said, he's very popular among rabid leftist lunatics. Like he's got a huge audience, right? And I'm not the only one that knows this. I think he's got a pretty good following on X and on Twitch. I think was his main platform.
Yeah, Twitch was his main Wow, no, I can't talk on your show.
It's okay.
What's going on?
It's okay.
On Twitch.
That's his main platform.
Yes.
But I think he was removed. Was it him or was it Hassan that was removed?
I think Hassan is the one who got moved. I think Hassan got bumped to YouTube.
Yeah, so they're all losing their mind. But after the Charlie Kirk memorial, he tweeted out, "This Charlie Kirk memorial is indistinguishable from a Nazi rally. And F anyone who pretends it's not. F anyone. F anyone. I'm sure you will, buddy. I'm sure you will." This is just the reaction from the left. I was in the building, and I've never been a part of a Nazi rally. And I don't know. I don't remember any Nazi rallies in history where they're forgiving the man who killed the guy that we're remembering. It's never happened. The Babylon Bee ran a headline, and the Babylon Bee doesn't miss. Here, put this on the screen. Nazi rally inspires millions to forgive and love their enemies. Yep. Heck of a Nazi rally. It's the truth. I tell you what, that crowd was so loving, so gracious, so happy to just be in the building, to be able to be a part of something as special as it was. There was nothing Nazi about it. In fact, being in the crowd, I can tell you, I've never seen a Nazi rally with so many black and Asian people before. Like, what? Except for, I get it. The Japanese honorary Aryans, whatever.
Yeah, the all-inclusive Nazi party.
The Nazi party. They're very inclusive. But this is what they're doing. It was it's a stunning development. How scary it is to see people returning to their faith. And MSNBC has they're sounding the alarm on the rising trend of Christian nationalism, and they're so scared of it. Somebody call Phil Williams, because Christian nationalism is on the rise.
Here is a movement called Christian nationalism that merges Christianity as it's been practiced in America for, centuries with a very specific interpretation of what the founding fathers wanted, what Aristotle wanted, going all the way back to the ancients. You saw Larry Arnn, who is the president of Hillsdale College and a proponent of this strain of interpretation of the Bible, merge Christianity and protecting the Western civilization values into one and the same thing. It's a very somewhat convoluted argument, but if you distill it into the right talking points, it really hits you in the patriotic heart area, as it were.
Oh, in the patriotic heart area. Hit him in the patriotic heart area. This is just insane. There's nothing wrong with Christianity. There's nothing wrong with nationalism, and there's nothing wrong with a Christian who believes in nationalism. There's nothing wrong with that. They try to make this the new boogeyman, and I think they were going to see this a lot more coming from the left in the coming days, weeks, and months. And it's just a bit infuriating. Yes, I'm sorry to tell you, America was founded as a Christian nation. That's just the facts. So you can be mad about it. You can stomp your feet if you're an atheist, but that's just the reality of it. Our country was founded as a Christian nation. I've played this clip in the past, and I just think it's worth playing again. It's one of my favorite Charlie Kirk clips that has ever circulated the internet. But Charlie breaks it down so quickly and so succinctly that there's no way that I can do his explanation any justice. But this is to all the Christian nationalists, making it the boogeyman argument.
Our country was founded on common law because the Declaration only refers to God 4 times, and the Constitution doesn't refer to God at all, and it only articulates the structure of government.
So first of all, remember that we were a collection of states and colonies, and you need to read the state constitutions before anything else. 9 out of 13 of the original states required you to be a Bible-believing Christian to serve in government at the time of the founding. 13 out of 13 required a declaration of faith. 9 out of 13 required you to be a Protestant. except Maryland, which was Catholic, which still required a declaration of faith. Almost every single one of the original state constitutions, Pennsylvania included, they had, I profess Lord and Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior in the original state constitutions. You remember, we're a collection of states before that. Secondly, 55 out of 56 of the original signers of the Declaration were Bible-believing, church-attending Christians. So common law is inherited from Blackstone, who was Christian. Common law is an outgrowth of the scriptures. So let's go to three principles of common law: presumption of innocence, due process, and jury of your peers. All three are biblical principles, wrapped into the ultimate biblical principle that you shall not favor justice if you are rich or poor, which is in Leviticus 19, right before the most famous part of Leviticus 19, which is that you should love your neighbor as yourself. But before that is that in the administration of justice, you shall not favor the rich or the poor, which is the idea of blind justice. We get that in the West, which is incorporated also in the New Testament ideal: neither slave nor Greek nor Jew, you're all one in Jesus Christ, which we get the idea of human equality. These are all biblical ideas. They're not Enlightenment ideas, which is they kind of get conflated at the time. But more importantly than that, they say that God was only mentioned 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. Well, that's a big deal, okay? Laws of nature and nature's God. The last paragraph of the Declaration reads as a prayer. It says, we appeal to the supreme judge of the universe. Who's the judge of the universe? Jesus Christ, as it says in Revelation, that Jesus will judge the earth on his throne. So in the Declaration, they were praying to Christ our Lord as a prayer very specifically. Thirdly, as I said on the stage yesterday, Deuteronomy was by far the most quoted book, religious or non-religious, in the time of the founding when they were putting together the Constitution. More than John Locke, more than Montesquieu, more than Blackstone. So the book of Deuteronomy, which talked about laws, customs, traditions, it was Moses' farewell address as he's about to say goodbye, say, hey, good luck in Canaan, guys. Here's how you should set up your form of government. But finally, and most importantly, let's look at actually what the founders said. John Adams famously said the Constitution was only written for a moral and religious people. It was wholly inadequate for the people of any other. The body politic of America was so Christian and was so Protestant that our form and structure of government was built for the people that believed in Christ our Lord. One of the reasons we're living through a constitutional crisis is that we no longer have a Christian nation, but we have a Christian form of government, and they're incompatible. So you cannot have liberty if you do not have a Christian population.
The reason that we're in a crisis right now is we have a Christian form of government, but we no longer have a Christian population. I do believe that we're seeing that shaking and that shifting happening before our eyes, and I think we started to see that revival over the weekend at the memorial service and globally with the hundreds of millions of streams that has garnered since then. But this is where we're at. Be scared of Christian nationalism. Oh. They're going to demonize Christianity here in the West in mainstream media. Get ready for that. And they're going to say that we're evil for wanting to have a Christian nation. But I would point out to the left, you guys are literally evil. Just the other day, there was a Charlie Kirk resolution, and it was to condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk. We had 58 House Democrats refuse to condemn it. 58. Another 38 didn't vote. And 96 of them. And to put it in perspective, because they'll shout about, oh, it's both sides. When Melissa Hortman, the state representative from Minnesota, had the same resolution come up in the House of Representatives, the lawmakers' resolution, they all voted for it. Republicans included. Like, this is not a two sides thing. We're not the same. But this is where we're at. Carolyn Levitt was calling this out yesterday, directly calling out Democrats and also the left-wing organizations who are pushing this kind of violence and this kind of rhetoric on and in our country.
To this unity. This past Friday, 58 House Democrats voted no, and 38 voted present on a resolution that simply stated, condemning in the strongest possible terms the assassination of Charles James Kirk and all forms of political violence.
So when they say Christian nationalism, be scared, we have to ring the alarm bells on Christian nationalism, I would say we need to be much more scared about the atheists in the Democrat Party who worship government instead of God. And I would point them to that resolution that they voted against or didn't vote at all for when it comes to condemning the murder of Charlie Kirk.
There were no strings attached to this vote. This was a simple gesture of human decency to denounce political violence. I wish I could say that this was only a fringe group, but 96 votes is nearly half of the entire House Democrat caucus. And they didn't just vote against this basic resolution condemning political violence. A number of those same Democrats took to the House floor to smear Charlie Kirk's name. The man wasn't even buried yet, and Democrat members of Congress were denigrating his memory on the floor of the House of Representatives. This was truly a sad moment and a clear reflection of how radical the Democrat Party has become. Many Democrats in elective office have now been totally captured by a radical fringe of the far left base who want to dehumanize every person they disagree with.
She's absolutely right. But instead of focusing on the real issues here, the radicalization of the left, they're going to use their mainstream media propaganda outlets like MSNBC to target and demonize Christian nationalism. We've seen this playbook before. We've seen it locally with Phil Williams. Oh my gosh, Christian nationalists, anything but that.
We must continue to call this wickedness out. It's the only way that our nation can heal. For too long, past leaders have offered platitudes while political violence has been allowed to fester and harm innocent Americans. There has been coordinated campaigns dating back years, spearheaded by radical left-wing organizations centered on dehumanizing, intimidating, doxing, and even attacking Americans whom they disagree with. These groups have radicalized impressionable individuals to foment violence. An attempted transgender assassin traveled to Justice Brett Kavanaugh's family home with plans to end his life. An attempted assassin came within an inch of ending President Trump's life in Butler, Pennsylvania. And on the campaign trail, another attempted assassin tried to kill the president at his golf club in Florida. A left-wing assassin shot United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson right in the back in the heart of New York City. ICE agents are facing a more than 1,000% increase in assaults for simply doing their jobs. Violent radical left-wing mobs engaged in illegal behavior, targeted Jewish Americans, and shut down America's college campuses under the previous administration. Left-wing mobs burned down Tesla dealerships out of, quote, protest of Elon Musk and his policies. In May, a left-wing activist shouting "Free Palestine" murdered 2 innocent Israeli embassy staffers outside of the D.C. Jewish Museum here in Washington. These are just a few examples, prominent examples of the growing left-wing political violence in our country.
And we know these examples because we actually talk about these examples here. One of the ones that she left out was the country club in Nashua, New Hampshire, over the weekend, where another radical leftist jumped in screaming "Free Palestine" and opened fire. The local authorities are saying that they have no idea what the motive was, though. They have no idea. But instead of focusing on that, the growing trend of violence coming directly from the left, they're going to focus on Christian nationalism. Jasmine Crockett was on CNN, another left-wing propaganda outlet, let's call it what it is, and she doubled down. She said that not enough Democrats voted against condemning the murder of Charlie Kirk. Not enough. Not enough. I'll bring you these comments from Jasmine Crockett on the way. They're going to make you as mad as I got mad. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. We'll also have the comments from Erica Kirk. When you hear these left-wing radicals and then you hear the strength and the faith and the resolve of Erica Kirk, it's like we are not the same. We are not the same at all. And they continue to demonize and dehumanize us. It's crazy. It's a little scary. And it makes you wonder what's going to happen next. But we'll bring you this audio from Jasmine Crockett. We'll bring you the audio from Erica Kirk. And on the way, we'll bring you the highlights from this speech of Donald Trump at the UN General Assembly. A lot to get to, a little bit of time. Hang out with us. It's 9:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And right now, the Best Prices of the Year event are going on. So not only are you going to save a lot of money, but you're going to be inundated with bee puns by the end of this commercial. I guarantee it. How about this? The savings are buzzing. Check this out. Goodman 14.3 SEER 2-ton split heat pump, $79.95 with a 10-year parts warranty and 2-year labor warranty. Rude 14.3 SEER 2-ton 10-kilowatt heat kit, only $89.95, or upgrade to that Rude 16 SEER 2-ton for only $99.95. You can celebrate Grandparents' Day all month long. And Beehive Club members will be able to gift a free Beehive membership to one set of grandparents. That's their way of honoring family. And how about the plumbing deals? They got you covered. $500 off water and drain repipes, $300 off tank-to-tankless water heaters, and more. Call Busy Bee today, and if you refer a neighbor, both of you guys are going to get a $50 credit when you schedule that HVAC maintenance. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Give them a buzz or find them online, busybeehvac.com. 9:59, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris and Jasmine Crockett doubling down after that vote where the Democrats didn't want to condemn Charlie Kirk's murder. Jasmine Crockett actually was upset that there wasn't more Democrats voting against condemning Charlie Kirk's murder.
It's not been laid out that honestly hurts my heart is when I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was specifically to us. And I can tell you that a month prior to him passing away, he had actually gotten out on his podcast. I wasn't aware of this at the time, but he got out there and he was talking negatively about me directly. So,
because you're awful. It's because you're a trash human being.
That has nothing to do with color of skin.
Also, this is the ideology of the left, right? Oh, there were only 2 white people that didn't vote to condemn Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's how deeply rooted white supremacy is in this country. It's even affecting the Democrat Party. Are these people serious? She's serious. I'll play the other half of this clip when we get back after the news with Joan Jones, which starts right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Want to let drivers know that there's a crash out at the airport this morning. It's at Briley Parkway near Glastonbury Road. It involves some injuries, and there's some big delays in that area this morning. Meantime, in the news, President Trump has called off a meeting with Democrat congressional leaders to talk about government funding. Without an agreement, a shutdown could begin on August 1st. Make that on October 1st. Here's correspondent Karen Travers.
President Trump says he's not going to meet with Democratic congressional leaders because a meeting would not be productive, calling their proposals to fund the government and avert a shutdown, quote, unserious and ridiculous. The president pointing the finger at Democrats, saying the minority party will be to blame if the government shuts down. On Monday, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told me what the White House wants to see.
We want a clean funding extension to keep the government open. That's all we're advocating for.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Last week, Democrats in the Senate voted down the clean bill that passed in the House. Meantime, President Trump is speaking before the United Nations General Assembly in New York City, and he's not holding back when it comes to other countries that are recognizing a Palestinian state.
We can't forget October 7th, can we? Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities.
The president also scolding the UN for budgeting nearly $400 million in cash assistance to support hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants journeying to the U.S., telling them to stop invading the U.S. His discussion continues. We'll bring you the latest. Border czar Tom Homan in the media's crosshairs after a report that said he accepted a bribe in order to land security contracts with the federal government. The White House says Homan never took a bag of cash containing $50,000.
Homan was allegedly caught on tape accepting a bag containing $50,000 in cash while agreeing to potentially help undercover agents obtain government contracts once Trump took office. Investigators were still working to determine whether Homan would have followed through, but the investigation was shut down by the Justice Department over the summer. Now, the White House says it was part of the weaponization of the Biden Justice Department, and the FBI says it found no credible evidence of wrongdoing.
That's ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. And the co-founder of Mission Barbecue has announced that his son was one of the 4 U.S. Army soldiers killed in a helicopter crash in Washington state. 39-year-old Andrew Krause was a member of a team that specializes in nighttime missions. Their Black Hawk helicopter crashed during a routine training mission. Mission Barbecue focuses on honoring U.S. service members with a long record of donating to charities that support the military. Stocks are mixed right now with the Dow Jones up 201. We've got the NASDAQ falling 80. S&P 500 index is down 6. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can find us anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. Helps me feed the kids. I got a lot of kids, and if you don't want them eating bread and water, it's really up to you. Hit like and subscribe. The YouTube chat is jumping as always. Phone lines are open, 615-737-9986. Jasmine Crockett is so mad that Democrats, not enough Democrats voted against condemning Charlie Kirk's murder. And it's just wild because they keep doing the both sides thing on this. But when they bring up the Democrat lawmaker, Melissa Hortman, the state lawmaker, every Republican voted to condemn her murder. Every single one in the House. Yet here we have over 90 Democrats either voting no or keeping their hands in their pockets and not voting at all to condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk. Jasmine Crockett says that's not enough. We need more Democrats standing away from this and not voting to condemn it.
You know what? One of the things I do want to point out that's not been laid out that honestly hurts my heart is when I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color.
It's just ridiculous, and it's a lie. It's not true. I've worked at Turning Point. Charlie Kirk champion people of color. Charlie Kirk is one of the reasons why Blexit is becoming a force in politics. It's a play on Brexit, which was the British exit of the European Union. Blexit is the black community's exit from the Democrat Party. I know a lot of these guys personally. This is a bold-faced lie. No, Charlie didn't have anti-black rhetoric. Never did. He had anti-Democrat rhetoric, and he wanted the black community to wake up to the lies of the Democrat Party. Sure. And I hope that the black community does wake up to the lies of the Democrat Party. And we saw that a lot more this last election cycle than we've ever seen before. And I think a lot of that credit goes to Charlie, and I think a lot of this is why Jasmine is so upset.
And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was, specifically to us. And I can tell you that a month prior to him passing away, he had actually gotten out on his podcast. I wasn't aware of this at the time, but he got out there and he was talking negatively about me directly. So if there was any way that I was going to honor somebody who decided that they were just going to negatively talk about me and proclaim that I was somehow involved in the great white replacement, yeah, I'm not honoring that kind of stuff, especially as a civil rights attorney and understanding how I got to Congress, knowing that there were people that died, people that were willing to die, that worked to make sure that voices like mine could exist in this place. So to me, just like we wanted to make sure that those Confederate relics were taken down, the idea of a new age relic being propped up was something that I just could not subscribe to. And it is unfortunate that more of my colleagues, even on my side of the aisle, could not see the amount of harm that this man was attempting to inflict upon our communities.
She is insane. She's 100% insane. She plays up the victim mentality so much. Jasmine, you went to a private school. You lived a good life. You're blessed. You're a member of Congress. Why do you have to keep insinuating that because of your skin color, life is harder for you? Why? You are literally a picture of the American dream. You're living it. You're living it. I can't honor somebody like that. No, but you can condemn political violence. You can condemn a man being shot in the throat for exercising his right to free speech. No, that's a bridge too far for her. The Democrats still demonizing Charlie Kirk. Meanwhile, on Sunday at the memorial service, Erica Kirk wasn't condemning anyone. She wasn't. She was forgiving people. It's just the extreme opposite of these views is insane. It's insane. Sunday, Erica Kirk really highlighting the difference between the Democrat reaction to a tragedy and the Republican reaction to a tragedy. Now, I say that a bit tongue-in-cheek because she highlights what they did in the aftermath of George Floyd. I don't necessarily think that that's a tragedy. I think that what we saw was a career criminal who overdosed on fentanyl, and we saw all these cities burned down. But she uses that as an example to highlight the difference in reaction between conservatives and Democrats in light of both of those situations.
After Charlie's assassination, we didn't see violence. We didn't see rioting. We didn't see revolution. Instead, we saw what my husband always prayed he would see in this country. We saw revival.
Amen. The strength of that woman. We knew Erica was very strong, but after Sunday, I was left walking out of there thinking she's even stronger than I could have imagined. But she's right. And I think this is what scares the Democrats so much. I played a clip yesterday, Pete Hegseth saying his pastor texted him and said the devil overplayed his hand. And I think that's so true. If you're watching us on the YouTube stream, you'll see the difference in reaction. On the top part of your screen, you're seeing the memorial service for Charlie Kirk, the revival, the praying, the worship, the Holy Spirit being activated, the name of Jesus being lifted up. And on the bottom of the screen, you see the reaction from the left in the aftermath of George Floyd. cars on fire, windows being broken, looting, violence, devastation, and destruction. No, we're not the same. We're not the same at all. Not one bit. And just let that sink in for a second. The right could have rioted. The right could have reacted in anger. But we didn't. We didn't. We were sad. We were heartbroken. But what we saw instead was revival. Unbelievable. These things could not be any more different. We are not the same. And what I would tell Jasmine Crockett would be, you really do need to pray on this. You really do need to take some time and dig back into the Bible if you've ever dug into it. Because you are bat bleep crazy if you think that the Democrats that voted to condemn it are somehow white supremacists. Only 2 white people voted against the condemning of Charlie Kirk's murder. Again, bringing race into this. Calling Charlie Kirk a racist. Not in those words, but that's what she was inferring. It's insane. Let's go to Bobby in Nashville. What's up, Bobby?
Hey, brother. Appreciate everything you do, man. I was hoping to hook up with you down there at WOC this past weekend, but you was a man on the move. But let's keep the faith. But I got one good word for how does people even put somebody like her in office? But I'm going to quote the comedian Steve Harvey. I got one good word for her. She's ghetto-ish. I mean, I don't know anything else to say, brother. But, yeah, man, keep it up, brother. And you guys always do a good job. And let's just keep the faith, man.
Amen. Appreciate you, Bobby. I wouldn't even call Jasmine Crockett ghetto as I think that she's playing a character. I think Jasmine Crockett is so fake. I think that she thinks that that's going to play well in the black community. And maybe it does for some people, but I look at it as just extreme inauthenticity. And we saw the same thing with Kamala Harris, right? Where she would put on a different accent depending on the room she was in. We see that exactly with Jasmine Crockett. We do. Kenny in Brentwood, you're next on Super Talk. What do you got, Kenny?
Well, right on topic. I was wondering where her accent was in that clip you played, because she sounded like an educated person who spoke in proper English, as opposed to when she's in front of a black audience where she sounds like a rapper or something.
Yep.
One gets the impression she just might be a tad phony.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the Democrat Party on the whole, Kenny, and I appreciate the call. That's why Charlie was so popular. You understand that, right? That's why millions of Americans felt like they knew him, and why you can make the argument that you did. Because Charlie was the same at a 7 a.m. staff meeting that he was at 12 o'clock Eastern when he went on the air, that he was when he got home and he was with the kids. He was the same Charlie. You can't say that about Jasmine Crockett. You can't say that about Kamala Harris. You could say that about Donald Trump, 100%. But no, they're upset. I think they're panicked. They overplayed their hand. They don't know where to go from here. We're not burning down buildings. We're not rioting. We're not taking up arms. We're praying. We're praying for revival. We're getting more active than ever before. Not with violence, but we're bolder. We're braver. We're going to be more courageous. We're going to be more filled with the love of Jesus than ever before. I love it, and I'm here for it. But I don't think they were ready for this reaction. They definitely weren't ready for Erica Kirk on Sunday. Erica Kirk talking about Charlie Kirk, saying he wanted to save young men, and he saved millions of young men. Make no mistake about it. The message that Charlie Kirk preached, bringing the gospel to college campuses, bringing facts back to college campuses, telling young men, get your butt in gear, stop complaining, and put in the work, saved millions of young men. Millions. And Erica Kirk on Sunday made the point that the young man that took the shot at Charlie, Tyler Robinson, was one of those young men that Charlie wanted to reach.
He wanted to save young men, just like the one who took his life.
It was an unbelievable moment. I'll tell you, the crowd when Erica was speaking was so quiet, so respectful, hanging on to every word. Every single word. And, I mean, there wasn't a dry eye in the place. All of us were just bawling. It was a tough listen, but it was unbelievable to see her strength. And then she went a step further. Not just saying that the shooter was somebody that Charlie would have wanted to save, but she did the most Christian move, and it's a move that I'm not sure I'm ready for. She said, we're called to forgive. And this hit me. I mean, I leaned over to my wife on Sunday when she said this, and I said, I don't know how she's this strong. And, we made the comment earlier in the week, like, Charlie makes me want to be a better Christian and a better father and a better husband. And now I can say the exact same thing about Erica. She makes me want to be a better Christian, because when she said this, I leaned over to my wife and said, it's amazing that she said that, but I don't think I'm there yet.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
When I tell you there wasn't a dry eye in that place, there wasn't. We had goosebumps. We had goosebumps, and I still don't feel ready to forgive him. I know that's what we're called to do as Christians. I know we're not supposed to harbor that anger and that resentment, but I don't know how she's that strong. I have no idea how Erica Kirk is that strong. I knew she was strong, but she's superwoman out here. The fact that she did that on stage so publicly 11 days after the assassination of her husband, I don't know how she could have. Now, I will say, forgiveness doesn't mean the absence of justice. And we're all still waiting for that justice to be served. And I hope it's served swiftly and quickly. Firing squad, lethal injection, pick your poison. I think that the shooter needs to be put to death. Fast. No 40 years on death row, no 3 hots in a cot. I would want it done this week. If it was me. If it were up to me. It's not. But the example that Erica Kirk set for the millions of Christians watching her, hundreds of millions that have seen that clip sent, is one that can't be understated and won't be forgotten for a very long time. If you want to join the conversation, the phone number is 615-737-9986. We got a lot more to get to. We're going to talk about the big autism press conference that happened yesterday on the way. We're also going to bring you the latest on this address to the UN General Assembly from President Trump and more, plus take your phone calls. 615-737-9986. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. .23 on Super Talk. My name is Chris Hand, and I'm here for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. Now, I know health insurance is confusing, it's expensive, and there's a lot of misconceptions and myths. Here's the biggest one. Thinking that you have to wait for open enrollment to get better health insurance. That's wrong. This is just what the big guys want you to believe. With Cover Nash, you can get covered today, right now, this very moment, with no waiting and no gimmicks. Maybe you missed open enrollment. Well, Cover Nash has you covered. Maybe you lost your job, so you lost your coverage. Cover Nash has got you covered. Maybe you're just sick of overpriced junk insurance, and we've all been there. Well, you're in the right place. Cover Nash partners with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options with deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 $50 doctor visits, even for specialists. ACA-compliant plans with free preventative care, physicals, colonoscopies, the works. Plans for individuals, families, self-employed, small businesses. It's time for you to stop overpaying. It's time for you to stop waiting. It's time to stop thinking that you're stuck. It's time to call Cover Nash. 615-465-0023. That's the number for Shane Ring. 615-465-0023. If you want health insurance on your terms and not the government's, talk to Shane Ring and find him online, covernash.com. That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 1027 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Your phone calls are always welcome at 615-737-9986. I always steal a line from Matt Murphy, afternoon host, esteemed afternoon host on Super Talk. You want to turn the monologue into a dialogue, you know the phone number. Andrew's on the road. What's up, Andrew? How are you?
Hey, Chris. Thanks for taking my call, man. I just wanted to comment about what you were last saying about how it's so difficult for you to show forgiveness in this situation and how you're amazed about Erica. And, you know, I think a lot of people listening have the same sentiment, but I think that the biggest example of showing the love of Christ for people is to forgive. And it's not something that they deserve, not something that we deserve, because the Bible says even though we were sinners, Christ died for us. And we don't have to condone anything. We don't have to forget what happened. But we are commanded to forgive. And the Bible also says, by the measure of what you forgive, that will be forgiven to you. And we cannot withhold it. Our best example, like I said, of showing our Christianity is to let go of it. It's like taking a poison pill for yourself and expecting somebody else to get sick from it.
Yep. And I've heard it explained different ways, like picking up a hot coal from the fire and looking for somebody to throw it at. In the meantime, you're just burning your hand. And I get where you're at. I think the thing that I struggle with is how this woman who just lost the father to her two children could do this and say this on a stage in front of 70,000 people, hundreds of millions watching online in just 11 days. Like the strength that she has, I understand what the Bible commands, but I'm more saying she's so close to it, and I don't have the strength to forgive that. It's more of a raising up Erica and the example that she's setting, as opposed to saying that she's wrong for forgiving him. I don't want it to come off that way.
No, and that's not what I'm hearing. But what I believe is that it's not in her strength, but in her weakness that Christ has been able to help her realize the mercy that she needs to show this man, the example. And it's not our strength, it's our weakness. And when we say, I don't have the ability to forgive this person, Lord, help me to forgive this person in my heart. And that's when he comes in and makes that transfer. And it also shows with Erica how much she believes in the mercy of God for herself. And
Amen.
It's from that. It's from the mercy that we have received, and we recognize that we're able to give that to other people when they don't deserve it. And I can't say I would be able to do that if my wife was assassinated or killed or raped or murdered. But I can rely on God that when I'm weak, he'll be able to fill in those gaps. And that's what I would say to you and to the other listeners who are bearing this unforgiveness against this young man who, if he knew what he was doing, he would not have done that.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Andrew, and I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. I feel like if you were watching this on Sunday like I was, you probably felt the same thing. It was just a remarkable show of strength, bravery, and a testimony to her faith in Jesus Christ, that she was able to even get up on stage and give a speech, let alone get up on stage and announce to the world that she forgives that young man. It was a moment that I will never, ever forget.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. President Trump is taken to the podium at the United Nations. He addressed the General Assembly there, but things started off rough. The teleprompter wasn't working.
I feel very happy to be up here with you, nevertheless. And that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
The president getting down to business, though. He has called out world leaders for supporting a Palestinian state and the world leaders who continue funding the Russian war on Ukraine.
China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. But inexcusably, even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products.
His speech is over now. He concluded by pledging to make the world better, safer, and more beautiful. Heavy thunderstorms overnight and into early this morning caused a rush of 911 calls in Murray County. First responders were called out to multiple accidents, lightning strikes to homes and trees, and vehicles stuck in high water. At one point, Mountjoy Road in Mount Pleasant area was closed down due to dangerously high water. And this is Tune It Tuesday, when the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency tunes NOAA weather radios for free. They'll be out at Lowe's stores across Middle Tennessee from 4 until 7 p.m., and you can bring your radio. They'll have a limited number of radios that they'll give away as well. And, of course, there are radios to purchase. You can see which Lowe's locations will participate. Just check out my X account. I've got all the information you need right there. On X, I'm at Joan Jones, WTN. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at United Structural Systems. On a day like today with the rain we're having, I instantly think of USS if you're having waterproofing issues, and I'm sure if you have those issues, you're thinking about USS as well. But let me ask you this. Are your floors sagging, cracks showing up in the drywall, or doors just not shutting right? Those aren't small problems. Those are warning signs. A solid foundation is the backbone of a strong home. And when that weakens, the issue only gets worse with time. And this is why I stand behind USS. Since 1994, these guys have been keeping Tennessee homes dry, stable, and secure the way it should be. USS uses American-made adjustable steel supports built to last and backed with a transferable warranty. From I-beams to custom crawl space repairs, they fix it right the first time. So when it comes to your home, don't kick the can down the road, especially if you're seeing the waterproofing issues today. Call the people I trust, United Structural Systems, 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems, built on integrity, committed to protecting what matters, USSTN.com.
I'm Pastor Alan Jackson, and I'm excited to invite you to join me for my brand new show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8, I'll be talking about the week's news and headlines, but through a biblical lens. Together, we'll look at what's happening in our world and how God's Word can guide us through it. Join me, Pastor Alan Jackson, Sunday evenings at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and you can listen on iHeartRadio and tune in.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
.38 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. There's a lot of ways to listen to us, a lot of apps. I'm getting a lot of text messages, though, people saying that the iHeartRadio app is on the fritz today. It's not working right.
Yeah, iHeart's being a pain this morning.
So what I would do is I would suggest to you either download the TuneIn app, the 99.7 WTN app, listen to us on the FM dial, or watch the show on YouTube or Rumble. If one of the streams is not working correctly, as technical glitches do seem to happen, we offer a multitude of options for you to listen to us. So appreciate you guys letting us know. We're working on it behind the scenes. I have no realistic update on when or why or any of that stuff. But I know about it.
We know about it. We're working on it, and we have options for you.
We got other options. I just got another text, 3879. Hello? Don't know if you're receiving this, but your signal keeps going on and off, repeating itself over and over. I'm listening on your radio app. I try a different app. That's what I'll tell you.
YouTube's going strong. I'm just saying.
YouTube's rocking. Rumble's rocking.
You also get to see the visuals.
And you get to see the videos for every piece of audio that you hear on the radio. It's just an added bonus to watching us on the stream. Put it on your TV. That we talked about that a couple months back. People have switched from watching YouTube on their phone to watching YouTube on their TV.
Drastic change.
Huge change.
Yeah.
So you get to see me up close and personal.
Every follicle of his eyebrows.
Every follicle.
Right there.
People want to frolic with the frolics. You know what I mean?
That's why I got me an ear trimmer.
You got to do it. Everybody needs an ear trimmer. I actually, unironically, I'm so tired of ear hair that I would get laser hair removal on my ears.
I wouldn't blame you.
If any salesperson's listening, work me out an endorsement.
Do a 3-person combo on the Chris Ann show.
Dude, I would. I'm not even lying to you. I'm not like a vain person. But like it's just
annoying.
Oh my gosh.
Well, on windy days, there's a constant whistle.
Who said that?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Maybe RFK can find an answer to that, like he found an answer to autism.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Maha. Make my ears less hairy again. Miha. All right, so this has been a big topic of conversation. Donald Trump actually announced this at the memorial service on Sunday. And I'm with you. I don't think that Trump did. Oh, my gosh. I just got a text from a salesperson about ear laser hair removal. That's how quick it works. The power of prayer, you guys. So anyway. Donald Trump, I'll be honest with you, the memorial service on Sunday, that was not like his greatest speech. I wish that Donald Trump had a concise 10-minute speech like the other members of the cabinet. I thought all the other guys were really on point, and Tulsi Gabbard as well. And, I say guys, and I mean everybody in the cabinet. But they were on point, they were concise, they delivered a great message, and then they got the heck out of there. And I thought that was perfect. Trump came on, and he goes on for like a long time, a bit too long, admittedly. And he was tree trunk talking. He was doing his thing, and he kept bringing it back to Charlie. I'm with a lot of the criticism online that it was like, kind of missed the mark. That's okay. I'll tell you, there was a lot of internal discussion backstage at Turning Point on how they execute. Does Donald Trump go on last? Does Erica Kirk go on last? Are you risking that the crowd might leave after Donald Trump goes on and then nobody's there for Erica? Was a big topic of conversation behind the scenes. I don't think it would have happened. I think that you could argue that definitely wouldn't have happened. But I'm just letting you know that it was being discussed ad nauseum. Even while we're sitting there in the seats, we were talking about it, myself and a few of the Turning Point contributors. And I leaned over. I said, "Who's going on last?" And they said, "I've heard both. So I think it was a game time decision. That being said, I don't know how the decision was made. It could have been that Erica was feeling like she could go out there and do it at that moment, and so they said, "All right, let's go with Erica." It could have been that maybe she wasn't sure that she could last any longer, and she just needed to get it out. And I'm not sure what the decision process was. I personally think it would have been a much better ending for Erica to end it with her speech, for giving Tyler Robinson, which was just an unbelievable image of strength and faith. And then you have President Trump come out and comfort Erica, as opposed to what we saw, which was President Trump close it out and Erica come out to meet him. That being said, one of the things that he did while he was doing his tree trunk talking was he said that there was going to be a big announcement yesterday on autism. And he did not disappoint yesterday. We had the heads of health in America assembled alongside Donald Trump, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, Dr. Oz, RFK Jr., and President Trump, and they were talking about the autism epidemic. Now, this first clip I want to play you is rather astounding, because when they started leaning in on the Tylenol stuff, a lot of people in the Maha movement were nervous because they thought that this was going to be getting away from the vaccines. Because a lot of people have stories where you bring a child in for a wellness check, and the wellness check is really just a vaccine appointment, and you bring the child home, and that's the day that the smiles stop. That's the day that the conversations stop. That's the day that the eye contact stopped. And I have personal friends with this story, albeit it's anecdotal evidence, right? That this is anecdotal. But the Maha movement was built off of moms that were being silenced because of this issue. So when they started leaning in on the Tylenol stuff, a lot of the Maha movement was a little bit nervous that they weren't going to address vaccines. But it doesn't seem that that's the case at all. President Trump getting to the podium and saying what a lot of people have thought for decades, that this has been a cover-up.
Today, we're delighted to be joined by America's top medical and public health professionals as we announce historic steps to confront the crisis of autism. Horrible, horrible crisis. I want to thank the man who brought this issue to the forefront of American politics along with me. And we actually met in my office, is it like 20 years ago, Bobby? It's probably 20 years ago in New York. I was a developer, as you probably heard, and I always had very strong feelings about autism and how it happened and where it came from. And he and I don't know, the word got out, and I wouldn't say that people were very understanding of where we were, but it's turning out that we understood a lot more than a lot of people who studied it, we think. And I say we think because I don't think they were really letting the public know what they knew.
Is Donald Trump suggesting that there's been a cover-up in the medical industrial complex on the cause of autism? I think that's exactly what he's doing. And he kept going further and further on his messaging. He even brought up what has been described in certain circles of the internet as a right-wing conspiracy theory that the Amish don't have autism. Why is that?
And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism. Does that tell you something? That's currently, is that a correct statement, by the way?
There are some studies that suggest that, yeah, with the Amish, for example.
The Amish, yeah, virtually. I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says.
I love it. President Trump was not being careful yesterday. He wasn't. The older I get, the more based and red-pilled I think that the Amish are. The more that I respect the Amish for saying, yeah, you know, we're not going to go that route. We're going to do our own thing. But he keeps going. President Trump also addressed the vaccine schedule, and he did it in his own way. And he said maybe it's about spreading out the vaccines that these kids get.
So, ideally, a woman won't take Tylenol, and on the vaccines, it would be good instead of one visit where they pump the baby, load it up with stuff. You'll do it over a period of 4 times or 5 times. I've been so into this issue for so many years just because I couldn't understand how a thing like this could happen. And you know it's artificially induced. It's not like something that when you go from all of those, healthy babies to a point where I don't even know structurally if a country can afford it. And that's the least of the problems. To have families destroyed over this is just so terrible. I also, and we've already done this, we want no mercury in the vaccine. We want no aluminum in the vaccine. The MMR, I think, should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel, the mumps, measles, and all the 3 should be taken separately. And it seems to be that when you mix them, there could be a problem. So there's no downside in taking them separately. In fact, they think it's better, so let it be separate. The chicken pox is already separate because when that got mixed in, I guess they made it 4 for a while, it really was bad.
What was being said yesterday at this press conference can't be understated. And it shouldn't be missed This is groundbreaking stuff. The president addressing the MMR vaccine, which whistleblowers for years have stated is a leader in the cause for autism, and you can find that info online. I do have to preface this because we're on YouTube that I'm not a doctor. If we were only on Rumble, I could go a little bit harder, but the fact remains I'm not a doctor, and I don't have medical advice. But I do know that whistleblowers from the CDC directly implicated the MMR vaccine to the rise in the autism epidemic, especially when it comes to young black boys, saying if we had just waited until they're after 3 years old, you wouldn't see the explosion in autism in young black boys. Where are all my Democrat friends? Where's Black Lives Matter? They're quiet. They're quiet because they don't care. They don't care. They're political activists. That's all they're for. President Trump also devoted an additional $50 million to studying the causes of autism. He's establishing the Autism Data Science Initiative within the NIH. I'm grateful for that. But the things that they addressed also was Tylenol. And the Tylenol stuff, at first I thought that this was going to be a cop-out on the autism thing. And I thought that a lot of moms in the movement were going to be rather upset about it. But I think that there's probably more to it. If you can convince people that Tylenol was bad for you and show them the data that proves that, not even convince them, but just let them see the data, you're going to create a ripple effect. If the medical industrial complex lied about Tylenol, what else have they lied about, right? And President Trump didn't mince words when it came to Tylenol.
Maybe stronger from me than from the group because they're waiting for certain studies. I just want to say it like it is. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. If you just can't, it's just fight like hell not to take it. There may be a point where you have to, and that you have to work out with yourself. So don't take Tylenol. Other things that...
Don't take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. RFK Jr. also at this press conference, he was really loud on the autism epidemic for years and years before he got into this position under President Trump. You absolutely can give credit to Charlie Kirk for having RFK Jr. in this administration. You can give credit to Charlie Kirk for the Maha movement. It was started before Kirk, but he made it mainstream. Make no mistake about it. RFK said we've spent decades silencing these moms, and that is going to change.
Our friends like to say we should believe all women. Some of these same people have been silencing and demonizing these mothers for 3 decades. Because research on the potential link between autism and vaccines has been actively suppressed in the past. It will take time for an honest look at this topic by scientists. But I want to reassure the people in the autism community that we will be uncompromising and relentless in our search for answers.
I'm here for it. I'm here for good data, good science. I have a friend, Erin, who's just awesome, and she's pretty red-pilled on all the Maha stuff. And when we saw the Tylenol stuff coming through, she's like, maybe this is going to be a letdown. Maybe they're just going to lean too hard into Tylenol and not address the vaccines. After the presser yesterday, she goes, well, maybe I was too black-pilled because they went hard on vaccines yesterday, harder than we've ever seen the federal government go on vaccines before. There's a lot more to get to. Donald Trump had more than one mic drop moment, calling out vaccine injuries, saying that you don't need to be giving the hepatitis B vaccine to babies, and more. This is what we've been screaming about for a long time, especially on the Hep B vaccine. And that is so nonsensical. I remember with my babies, they said, "You don't want that?" I said, "No. My 1-day-old isn't going to be going home and having unprotected sex or playing in dirty needles. I don't think it's necessary." But to have the leader of the free world saying the exact same thing, giving a voice to the actual voiceless, is a moment that we need to celebrate. I'll bring you more of the audio from this presser that happened yesterday. Plus, on the way, we'll bring you some of the clips from Donald Trump at the UN General Assembly today, where his teleprompter wasn't working. So we got raw, unedited Trump, which is some of our favorite Trump. All that and more on the way. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris and here for my friends at Cabinet Makeovers. We got some new cabinets installed in the house. They're absolutely amazing. The owner of Cabinet Makeovers came in, installed them personally. Dan, great guy. The cabinets, I'm going to tell you about in a second, but the company, you got to call these guys. Dan took so much time. My kids are homeschooled, so they're there while they're doing the installation. And Dan was like willing to turn it into a homeschool lesson. Let the kids turn the screwdriver. Let the kids see how they're installing them. Explain the whole process. And even talk to the kids a little bit about Jesus. Talk to a cabinet company that wants to talk about Jesus. Talk to Cabinet Makeovers and get some fantastic cabinets. These guys have been doing it for 45 years. They have decades of experience. And all of the wood is Tennessee made. All of the construction is made right here in Tennessee, and they do it so well. Soft close, pull-outs, they're amazing. It's going to change the way you interact with your kitchen. Cabinet Makeovers are the best. They have decades of experience. You can feel it in their work. They don't stop at kitchens. They do custom closets, pantries, cabinetry for every room in your house, all built with that same Tennessee pride and biblical values that guide their business. So do what I did. Call Cabinet Makeovers, 615-331-7010, 615-331-7010, or find them online, cabinetmakeoverstn.com. 10:59, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I see the Chiron on CNN, and it said, Trump and RFK claim that Tylenol is linked to autism, even though the data says the opposite. It's like, well, who did the data? Who did the study? You see, that's the biggest issue that we have. We can't trust these institutions anymore, and it was completely exposed during COVID. The CNN, get real. Did you know who they had on to talk about it? Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
The one we all trust.
Everybody loves him.
Much.
Everybody. Anytime I need advice, I look to Sanjay Gupta. I will say this: the RFK, Donald Trump, Maha stuff. It's hitting a nerve. Our friend Jill in the chat, or Jay, I'm sorry. She said, as a silenced mom of 25 years, go Trump. Go RFK. We'll have more from that press conference on the way. A lot to get to. Ken Weaver standing in the wings. He's like a lion ready to pounce with the headlines. And we're ready for you, Ken. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Right now, we got an injury crash, Briley Parkway at 24 South. That's exit 3. And then in Jolton, a crash, 24 westbound before Whites Creek Pike. That's a 7-minute delay. In Rivergate, we got a crash blocking the Gore, 65 northbound at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. Looks like more showers and thunderstorms are a distinct possibility today. In fact, the National Weather Service in Nashville says likely. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. In his address at the United Nations General Assembly, President Trump rejecting calls from a growing number of countries, including key U.S. allies, to recognize a Palestinian state.
Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities.
Trump also mentioned the war in Ukraine and said he thought he could end the war due to his relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
I thought that was going to be the easiest one, but you know, in war, you never know what's going to happen. There are always lots of surprises, both good and bad. Everyone thought Russia would win this war in 3 days, but it didn't work out that way. It was supposed to be just a quick little skirmish. It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad.
The speech, Trump's first at the UN since his return to the White House, occurred during the body's 80th session. The Trump administration says it's on pace to shatter records for illegal immigrant expulsions. Here's Stephen Portnoy.
The Homeland Security Department says more than 2 million people illegally in the country have been removed or have left on their own since the president's inauguration in January. The majority of that number, more than 1.5 million, are estimated to have voluntarily self-deported, while more than 400,000 are said to have been sent out by the government under orders. Homeland Security says for the past 4 months, no one arriving at the border illegally has been released into the country.
And the deadline of September 30th looming fast for lawmakers to pass funding to avert a government shutdown. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
President Trump says he's not going to meet with Democratic congressional leaders because a meeting would not be productive, calling their proposals to fund the government and avert a shutdown, quote, unserious and ridiculous. The president pointing the finger at Democrats, saying the minority party will be to blame if the government shuts down. On Monday, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told me what the White House wants to see.
We want a clean funding extension to keep the government open. That's all we're advocating for.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We're talking about the press conference that happened yesterday. Trump, RFK, Dr. Oz, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, discussing the links to autism. The one that the mainstream media is hanging on right now is Tylenol. They're not even addressing the topic of vaccines, which was discussed ad nauseum yesterday. We want to see more research done. We want to see research that was suppressed, released. And I do believe that there was suppressed research. And I believe that because of CDC whistleblowers in the past, especially when it comes to the MMR vaccine. There was many whistleblowers that were coming out years ago talking about the MMR vaccine and what that does to young kids, especially younger black kids. And we've seen this a couple times. There was a gentleman who has a PhD, Brian Hooker. No, excuse me, I missed that up. This is, who is it? What's his name? This is from Children's Health Defense. So they talk about a whistleblower from the CDC, and this is all available online. You can go look it up for yourself. But I'll play the clip for you. It's Dr. William Thompson from the CDC, and he's talking about a whistleblower from 2014. So this is 11 years ago, discussing what's going on with the MMR vaccine.
Roll back in the time machine to August of 2014. That is when Bill Thompson made the admission that the CDC had lied and hid the fact that the MMR vaccine was associated with autism. Talking with Thompson as it unfolded felt like a spy movie. It led me to secretly record phone conversations with Dr. William Thompson, which I did in the state of Oregon because it's illegal to secretly record phone conversations in the state of California. Dr. Thompson freely admitted that he had covered it up, and his associates at the CDC had also covered it up.
Thimerosal causes autism-like features, and that's the way I would say it. I'm completely ashamed of what I did. The higher-ups wanted to do certain things, and I went along with it. Colleen is a center director, Frank is the director of immunization safety, and Marceline the branch chief. They're still all much more senior than me.
Dr. Julie Gerberding was head of the CDC at the time. Coincidentally, she went on to a lucrative career at Merck, the manufacturer of the MMR vaccine.
Sure, that's just a happy little accident. I'm sure there's no correlation there. Do you think there would be any correlation there?
Coincidence? I think not.
No, that's probably no coincidence.
Probably just the wind.
Yeah, I have a tinfoil hat on. So do you think it's my tinfoil hat?
Probably. Just a little too tight.
I think we need to talk about this stuff, and I think that we've lost faith in these institutions, and the only way to restore that faith is to talk about it. President Trump was not afraid to talk about it yesterday. Not one bit. And he brought up vaccine injuries, and he was unafraid to discuss it. This is the President of the United States yesterday at that press conference.
Crying her eyes out behind the counter. She worked at the front desk. She was crying her eyes out. I've never... As much as I've ever seen anyone distraught, she was. I said, "Are you okay? What happened?" My boy, I've lost my boy." "What does that mean, your boy?" "My boy, you know him, sir. You've seen him grow up. He was so beautiful. And I took him for a vaccine, sir. And he developed this unbelievable, I think she said 107, 108. You know, it goes well beyond when this happens. It goes up to 106, 107, 108. You know, we hear 105 and you're in trouble, but it just goes up to a level that you never hear about, but it goes up very high. And it's fried. They get fried. She said, I took him, he developed an unbelievable temperature. And I've lost him, sir. He's gone. And then I saw the boy. It was so tragic to see. That was the following day. After the vaccine. And I've seen it 2 other times, and I think 3 other times, but 2 other times, where they go to the doctor and they get the vaccine, they get the shot. The kid is, badly hurt. Let's be nice, badly hurt. And just do it. Break it up into 5.
So Trump is making the argument that we need to change the vaccine schedule. That's what he's making. But we can't miss this moment and how monumental this is, especially to the moms out there who have been silenced, who have been shouted down and labeled anti-vaxxers, which couldn't be further from the truth. And it's wild. Whenever they label somebody an anti-vaxxer, especially a mom who has a vaccine-injured child, it's like, no. They weren't anti-vax. They were pro-vax. That's why they were getting the vaccine in the first place. They believed in what you were selling them. And then things changed one day. And I have friends who have the same story. I know people who have the same story. And it's anecdotal, sure, but to have the President of the United States relaying his stories and discussing this openly, this is a big deal for the Maha movement. This is what we've been fighting for. These institutions are what we've been fighting against. We have to celebrate this moment. I don't know where these studies are going to go. I don't know where this story ends, and nobody does currently. But we are absolutely reaching a point where we could see real change in this country. President Trump says we got to change the schedule. We do. And anybody who says, well, I got vaccines as a kid and I'm fine, I think that there's an education process there. Because the vaccine schedule that they want my kids on is different than the vaccine schedule I was on, which is far different than the vaccine schedule my parents were on. You see, after the Vaccine Injury Act in the late 80s, when these vaccine companies couldn't be sued anymore when their product injured someone, you saw the vaccine schedule explode to levels we had never seen before and became a money-making industry. Follow the money every single time. Every time. And President Trump also made the statement about the hepatitis B vaccine, which was, again, an absolute money grab. There's no way that you can look at the hepatitis B vaccine and tell me it's anything other than a money grab. Do you know how you get hepatitis B? Dirty needles and unprotected sex. I'm sorry, but if your 1-2-day-old baby is dabbling in either of those, we have far bigger problems than hepatitis B. Let's make no mistake about it. But President Trump addressed that. This is a money grab.
The hepatitis B, take it at 12. Sexually transmitted. You don't have to give it to the baby when the baby's 2 years old. And there are a lot of theories on that, but not when they're 12. Doesn't seem to be a problem at all. The MMR.
And he went into the MMR after that, but the hepatitis B one. That's the easy. I think if you're trying to wake people up to the medical industrial complex, the easiest way to do it is point at that hepatitis B vaccine and say, why are we giving this to a baby? Why? I mean, we can go down the line on what they're giving to babies in the first day of life. It's insane, and all of it goes to money grabs. I mean, I'm not a doctor, and I have to preface that with I'm not a doctor. I'm just a dad who did a bunch of research while we were having babies. And there's so much that needs to be evaluated. Like, for starters, this is not even a vaccine, but the eye goop. You get charged to put that goop on your baby's eyes. And they say it's to protect the baby from blindness in case the mom has gonorrhea. Sure, if that's the case, I understand why they would want to do that for the baby. But here's the thing. You get tested to see if you have it beforehand. And if you don't, why do they still apply the eye goop? Well, it's for the money. And it robs the baby of some really precious time with mom. And this is again, I just know this from just ridiculous amounts of research. Do you know that the distance that a baby can see at birth is directly the same distance from the mother's breast to the mother's face? But you put that goop on the eyes of the baby and you're robbing them of those first moments of seeing mom. And the majority of babies in this country don't need it. And the majority of babies in this country get it. And you get charged for it, and so does your insurance company. You can talk about the vitamin K shot. The vitamin K shot is really important to stop blood clot, or to make sure that your blood can clot. That's really there for circumcision, because I'm against male circumcision, by the way, and we can have a discussion about it. I don't think that we should be doing that. I think it's barbaric, and I think that we should move on from it as a nation. I don't think you should be strapping a baby down to use a sharp scalpel and remove his foreskin. That's later going to be used in beauty products. Look it up. That's a fact. So I'm against it. I'm against it completely. But even that, the baby's liver can't process all of the vitamin K that's going in there. There's other things that you can do, even if you're pro vitamin K, which I'm not completely against it. But with our son, we want the drops, and it's a little bit at a time that the baby can process, and you span it out over a few days. So it's not like you're anti-vitamin K. You're just realistic about what you're doing to the child. I love that this conversation is hitting mainstream. I do. And I love that Big Pharma is on its heels right now. They're panicking. They're absolutely panicking. And you see it because they're really focusing on the Tylenol discussion right now. And they're not bringing up any of the comments about any of the other stuff that Donald Trump or RFK or Dr. Oz talked about. They're not airing the story that Donald Trump had about the people that worked for him who had children that were vaccine injured. They're not addressing that. They're leaning in on the Tylenol. But if you want to lean in on the Tylenol, let's lean in on the Tylenol. Donald Trump addressed that yesterday ad nauseum. And I think it's a conversation that needs to be had, and a conversation that hasn't been had in the past. And it's important because if you can crack the armor on Tylenol and you can show people that they lied about that, then instantly your mind goes to what else have they lied to me about? And we saw this a lot during COVID. If you're lying about X, what else have you lied to me about? And we saw a lot of people wake up and get red-pilled during COVID. And I think the Tylenol discussion is going to do the exact same thing. This is President Trump calling out Big Pharma for defending and funding defending Tylenol.
A statement that was put out by the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and in their statement, they write, acetaminophen remains a safe, trusted option for pain relief during pregnancy. And that's at odds with what you said and with what many of the experts say. How do you...
It's the establishment. That's the establishment. They're funded by lots of different groups. And you know what? Maybe they're right. I don't think they are, because I don't think the facts bear it out at all. They're fighting for something that, in my opinion, they shouldn't be fighting for. But here's the thing. There's no downside to doing, other than a mother will have to, as I say, tough it out a little bit. There's no downside to doing this. It's not like, oh, if you do this, you're going to die. There's no downside.
No downside. But you're seeing Big Pharma just absolutely panic. RFK went a little bit more in depth on the effects of Tylenol and really hammered this point home.
Important findings from our autism work that are vital for parents to know as they make these decisions. First, HHS will act on acetaminophen. The FDA is responding to clinical and laboratory studies that suggest a potential association between acetaminophen use during pregnancy and adverse neurodevelopmental outcomes, including later diagnosis for ADHD and autism. Scientists have proposed biological mechanisms linking prenatal acetaminophen exposure to altered brain development. We have also evaluated the contrary studies that show no association. Today, the FDA will issue a physician's notice about the risk of acetaminophen during pregnancy and begin the process to initiate a safety label change. HHS will launch a nationwide public service campaign to inform families and protect public health. FDA also recognized that acetaminophen is often the only tool for fevers and pain in pregnancy, as other alternatives have well-documented adverse effects. HHS wants, therefore, to encourage clinicians to exercise their best judgment and the use of acetaminophen for fevers and pain in pregnancy by prescribing the lowest effective dose for the shortest necessary duration and only when treatment is required. Furthermore, thanks also to the politicization of science, the safety of acetaminophen against the risk of neurodevelopmental disorders in young children has never been validated. Prudent medicine, therefore, suggests caution in acetaminophen use by young children, especially since strong evidence also has associated it with liver toxicity. Some studies have also found the use of acetaminophen in children can potentially prolong viral illnesses. FDA will drive new research to safeguard mothers, children, and families. In addition to a possible acetaminophen connection to autism for pregnant women, infants, and toddlers, our research has revealed that folate deficiency in a child's brain can lead to autism.
This is where we're going to start. The conversation is going to be centered on Tylenol and acetaminophen. But I think that is by design. I think that if you can wake people up to the dangers of Tylenol, which we've all been sold a bill of goods on as being one of the safest medications that you can use, that every doctor recommends, then I think you're kicking that door open to a larger national conversation about what doctors are recommending. I think this is strategic, and I think it's good. We got a lot more on the way. It's 11:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store, and I got something that every shooter in Nashville is going to want to check out. The Glock Store has rolled out the brand new AccuShoot Live Fire Simulator, and you can be one of the first people to experience it today through Sunday the 27th. Here's the deal. It's not a video game. The AccuShoot LFX is a fully interactive live fire experience. So you'll be shooting animated targets, you'll have time drills, and you'll be instantly scored so you know exactly where you stand. And the scoring, it absolutely matters because every single day, the top shooters in the daily prize drills are going to walk away with real gear, like real Avid gunsmithing tools, O-Sight Red Dot Optics, and more. Then at the end of the week, the best of the best, they're taking home the grand prize, the Daria DY9 pistol. Now, if you haven't heard of that pistol yet, trust me, you will. Getting started, super simple. Create your AccuShooter profile at the Glock Store. Pay just $10 plus ammo if you need it, and pick from 5 different shooting drills from mild to absolutely wild. That's the AccuShoot LFX event going on today through Saturday, only at the Glock Store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, and always open online, glockstore.com. All right, so anyway, Canada.
In the unlikely event that you find yourself the victim of a home invasion, we are urging citizens not to take matters into their own hands. But don't engage unless absolutely necessary.
Is that so? Don't take matters into your own hands? Bro, they're in my living room.
We urge you to call 911 and do everything you can to keep yourself and loved ones safe until police arrive, and be the best witness possible.
Oh, be the best witness possible as your wife is being beaten by home invaders. You're being tied up. Just call Lee, chip in, and be a great witness. You know, Superman, and then, you know, you got Bizarro. In Florida, they're like, we're going to shoot you stone cold dead. This is Bizarro, Florida. Is that what Ontario is?
It's close enough.
All right, drivers, we got a crash working 65 northbound. That's going to be at Trinity Lane. President Trump addressing world leaders today at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. We'll give you some of what he said coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 11:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I was just joking with Mason during the break. Anybody else ready for this special election to be over so we can get away from all the "I'm the Trump supporter" ads? It's like, I feel like is it Captain Phillips, the Somali guy? He's like, "Look at me, I'm the Trump supporter now." I'm not knocking Gino. I know that he was just the last one to run, but they're all doing it.
They're all doing it.
They're all doing it. Like, we get it. We get it.
You like Trump?
Oh, you do. Oh. I wish one of them would be like, "Trump sucks." Do I have your attention? I was kidding. And then go into your spiel. That's what you should do.
Man, that one ad goes after Jody Barrett.
Oh, they don't like Jody.
I mean, that is.
Well, and you know what? I've been texting with Jody this morning.
Yeah.
I like Jody Barrett a lot. I can't vote in this special election. I don't have a dog in the race. I just know Jody, and I sent him a message. A lot of people have been upset about Jody's ad referencing Charlie Kirk. And there are other ads that reference Charlie Kirk as well from other guys running in this race, just for the record. But people keep bringing up the Jody ad because it's running on this station. So I reached out to him and I said, "Jody, people are mad that they feel like you're capitalizing on the Charlie Kirk murder." And he said he hadn't heard it. Who's it from? And I actually made this case to a listener. I was like, I don't know if he put the ad together or not. Like, that's probably his people doing it. I don't think Jody's reading every script or approving every script. And same goes for the other guys too, mind you. Same with all of them. They have teams that are doing this, and they're doing what you do in politics, right? Capitalize on the current thing. I get that. But to Jody's credit, he said he's going to look into it, and he said he doesn't like that stuff. And he texted me about an hour ago, and he said that ad where it mentions Charlie Kirk is going to be off the air today. So salute to Jody.
It's big.
Listen, man, respect. So I'm here for it. And shout out to Jody for it. And I wasn't like coming at him either. I was just like, "Hey, dude, just letting you know, this is what people are saying." Because that's what you need, right? You don't want to just hear from me. You want to hear from people that would vote for you. So I just want to let you know, Jody is going to be pulling that ad from the air because he heard from you guys, the faithful Tennessee Super Talk 99.7 WTN audience, and Tennessee spoke and said, we don't like that. And Jody went, "Yeah, I don't either. So I'm going to remove it." I feel like that's give him props for that. I don't know what they're going to replace it with.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Maybe he's going to talk about how he's a Trump supporter.
Look at me.
It's just that line's going to be removed. Did we mention he supports Trump? I'm just kidding. I know Jody's probably listening. I'm kidding. But I do. I have a lot of respect for the fact that he's pulling that off the air. On the way, we do have the lightning round. We're getting back into the lightning round. We're going to do it today. You guys ready for the lightning round?
Yes, sir.
Mason, it's been a while. Are you going to be quick to the lightning or slow to the lightning?
I think I deleted those bumpers. I don't know. It's been so long. Oh, no.
And we took a little break from the lightning round. We're going to bring it back today. And I got a story for you in the lightning round when it comes to YouTube that you guys are going to want to hear. There's been a lot of people that have been pulled off of YouTube for saying things that are a bit too political. And they're going to be remedied. I'll tell you about it in the lightning round when we get back. Right now, though, we got the headlines from the one, the only Ken Weaver on Super Talk.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And if you've got a flight to catch or someone to pick up over at the airport, just know some road work's underway until 3 o'clock today. Talking about moving closures on road and ramps. This sort of activity going to be going on through October 3rd. It's Donaldson Pike, both northbound and southbound at the I-40 diverging at Diamond. Then we've got a crash reported at Talbot's Corner, 65 northbound. That's going to be at Trinity Lane. And looks like thunder showers are likely again today. Full forecast in 5 minutes. President Trump addressing world leaders at the United Nations General Assembly in New York says countries, including some of our key allies like Great Britain and France, are wrong to call for a two-state solution to the war in Gaza.
Instead of giving in to Hamas's ransom demands, those who want peace should be united with one message: release the hostages now. Just release the hostages now.
President spent a large chunk of his speech criticizing the UN and accused the body of promoting empty words. Sean Diddy Combs, scheduled to be sentenced October 3rd, still faces years in prison. His lawyers say substance abuse played a major role in his behavior and are asking a judge to free the hip-hop mogul. ABC's Brian Clark has more from New York.
Sean Combs' celebrity status has been shattered. His legacy's been destroyed. That's according to attorneys in a sentencing memorandum asking a judge to sentence Combs to no more than 14 months in prison on 2 prostitution-related charges. That would essentially amount to time served. Combs has spent more than a year in jail. He was acquitted of more serious charges that could have sent him to prison for life. His attorneys say it's time for Combs to go home and be with his family. Brian Clark, ABC News, New York.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Brink Fiddler over at Defense Systems, and I got to tell you about what these guys do. I've personally taken the training from Defense Systems, and I believe that you need to as well. It's incredible. You're going to learn real-life skills that could actually save someone's life. I hope I never have to use them, but I'm so grateful I have them. Yes, Sunday at the memorial service for Charlie Kirk with a crowd of 100,000 people, and we're all waiting to pile in, there was a moment there where I'm like, this doesn't feel safe. But I did have these skills in the back of my mind from Defense Systems. You need these skills in the back of your mind as well. Defense Systems is a life safety and security consulting firm that specializes in physical security and active violence mitigation training. They train everyone: schools, corporations, healthcare facilities, law firms, manufacturing plants, even country music tours. We've taken the training here at Cumulus in Nashville. It's not just check the box for safety. They're going to give you real skills. How do you dress a bullet wound? How do you apply a tourniquet? They've done this for over 30 Middle Tennessee schools. Have your kids' school gotten this training? If the answer is no, you should rethink that because the active violence events are on the rise, unfortunately. Statistically, it may never happen to you, but sometimes that danger does spill into everyday life, and you want to be ready to know what to do if you or a loved one was critically injured. So don't wait until it's too late. Visit defensesystems.com or call Brink Fiddler today. 615-236-6484, 615-236-6484, defensesystems.com. 11:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I made the announcement earlier today, but I think it bears repeating. We were going to have an event at Hop Springs on September 30th. That was the game plan. That event has been canceled, or should I say rescheduled? Rescheduled is probably the better word. We're moving it to October 14th. We're going to move the event to the Charlie Kirk National Day of Remembrance, and we're very, very excited about this. We're going to have TPUSA representatives with us in the building, a lot of TPUSA representatives. So if you want to get involved, you felt it on your heart that it's time to stop being quiet and time to start being bold, time to be a little bit more like Charlie, this is going to be the event for you. We're going to be out there starting at 3 o'clock at Hop Springs on October 14th, which is also Charlie Kirk's birthday. And we're going to have Matt Murphy broadcasting live. We're going to have TPUSA representatives and chapters tabling in at Hop Springs and giving you information on how to get involved, because we need you to get involved. If you've seen or learned anything these past couple weeks, we cannot be timid. We cannot back down. We cannot go silent. We have to get louder. And I feel like a lot of people feel energized and mobilized to do so. So I've received, since the assassination of Charlie two weeks ago, which is just crazy. It feels like 15 minutes and 10 years at the exact same time, which is just a weird feeling. It's still so surreal. But if you've been, I've received so many messages of people that want to get involved. We want to help. How do we do it? This is going to be the event for you. I don't always have all the answers to turning point questions. I can help a lot, and I can always point you in the right direction. But there's going to be a lot of people there equipped to have a lot more answers to your questions. Like, we're going to have some higher ups from the Turning Point Field Program, which is equipping students on high school and college campuses to lead with not just their faith, but with their conservative values. And if you want to get your kids involved, you want to get involved, this is going to be the event for you. So 10/14, put it in your calendar now. It's going to be on the National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk's birthday, and we're going to be celebrating the life of Charlie Kirk and equipping this community to get involved. This is a big push, and we want everybody in Middle Tennessee out there. It's been really easy the past couple weeks to feel energized, right? And we've seen the vigils, we've seen all that. But, after like a tragic event like this, eventually you have to get back to regular life. But we don't want the messages to fade, and we don't want the energy to die down. We want it to keep growing. So we push back the event to the National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk, and we want to see you out there. If you want to get involved with TPUSA, this is going to be your day to find out how. And we have linked up with many, many representatives, people that have been on this show, people that haven't, that are even higher up. And there's going to be high school chapters there, college chapters there, and they'll answer all your questions. This is the event to figure it out. October 14th at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. We want you out there. There will be a large security presence. I'm just going to let you know that up front. This is going to be safe. And I know that a lot of people have those concerns. We're not sparing any expense here at Cumulus Nashville. They understand the reality of the day and time that we live in, and you're gonna get there. You're gonna feel safe. So we want to see you out there. Join us. There's more information online, 997WTN.com, and it's going to be a great day. We're going to need you out there to support. We're absolutely going to need to do it. We're going to lead with faith, family, freedom. That's what Charlie would want. That's what we're going to do. And I'm grateful to everybody at Cumulus Nashville. When we had the event scheduled for the 30th, I had placed a phone call because we wanted Turning Point chapters and reps out there. But given what's been going on the past couple weeks, it's been like a fine line balancing between wanting to support them and also making sure we're not being insensitive and asking too much. So by pushing this back a little bit, we're able to accomplish both of those things. We're able to support the Turning Point family, and we can do it in a way where we're not rushing them. We're giving them time to grieve, and process everything and get their ducks in a row, because everybody right now wants to support Turning Point. So October 14th, mark it in your calendar. Hop Springs, Murfreesboro. We need to see you out there. Everybody. Like, I want this event to be so massive that people are parking on John Bragg Highway. Can we make that happen? I think we can make that happen with this audience. So October 14th, you ready for it? I'm ready for it. It's going to be a blast. Again, everything will kick off at 3 o'clock with Matt Murphy broadcasting live. The entire team will be there. Myself, Mandis, Benson. I think we might even, there's a rumor that we might even have a Ken Weaver appearance, which is really going to pump attendance numbers. So we're excited about that as well. You going to come, Mason?
I might be there.
Mason and Weaver.
Just saying, I might.
It's going to be awesome. So we're very excited about this.
I might do it.
Don't tempt me with a good time. All right. So enough of that. You know what time it is, right?
I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is?
We've taken a bit of a break from doing this because I've been a blubbering mess for about a week and a half. Full
Understandably
disclosure.
so.
Full disclosure. I've been a broken man. But we want to get back to having fun a little bit. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
We do it every day at this time. We talk about all the stories that we didn't have a chance to get to during the show, stories that couldn't fill a whole segment, and we give you an opportunity for your hot takes, your opinions as well. We call it the lightning round. Oh, yeah, baby, that's the lightning. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's start with Jimmy Kimmel. So he's back on the air.
Jimmy Kimmel on the what?
Jimmy Kimmel is back on the air.
He's back on the air?
He's going to be back on.
Oh.
Except on Sinclair and Nexstar Media Broadcasting Companies because they're refusing to air his programming again. I'm sorry. I was under the impression that the evil fascist dictator, the orange man known as Emperor Trump, put his thumb on the scale and had him removed. Wasn't that what they told us? That it was a First Amendment issue? And that Donald Trump is a fascist and this is what fascists do? Weird. So he's back on the air. So dictators didn't win. Okay. Jamie Raskin, renowned Democrat, celebrated the win on CNN last night.
That Jimmy Kimmel will be returning to TV tomorrow night. What do you think?
Well, it's great news. Obviously, the ABC heard from millions and millions of people out there who do not want to accept government-dictated censorship of their late-night talk show host. And so the free speech battle's not over. Obviously, Donald Trump still thinks he's got the power to anoint and appoint comedians in the country in private media broadcasts, but at least ABC is on the right side now, and he's got his employer with him as well as so much of the public.
ABC, you guys, way to go, ABC. You're on the right side of history. Here's the deal. The same groups that forced the suspension are not going to be airing them. Sinclair Broadcasting is still not going to be airing it. They're going to run local news. Nexstar is still not going to be airing Jimmy Kimmel either. I think that you're going to see a ratings bump for about 3 days, and then he's going to be right back in the toilet where he belongs with the rest of the pieces of crap. So, Jimmy Kimmel. I don't necessarily think that this was organic at all. I think that this was a ploy. I think that they did this, the left, to distract from the Charlie story, make it about Jimmy, and blame Donald Trump. That's just my opinion, but it's an opinion that I hold. That being said, screw that guy. They want to make this a free speech battle, which leads us to the next story in the lightning round, which is Representative Jim Jordan revealing actual free speech battles that were waged forever. He said breaking. This came out about 8:05 this morning. He posted this on X. Breaking. Due to our oversight efforts, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off YouTube due to political speech violations to return to the platform. Whoa. This is a big deal. YouTube also admits that the Biden administration censorship pressure was unacceptable and wrong. Will the Democrats lambaste the previous administration for their free speech efforts to silence their critics? That's what we saw them in the last week. Donald Trump's a fascist dictator. He pulled Jimmy Kimmel off the air. How could he do this? What about the First Amendment? Well, are we going to do the same thing with the Biden administration? Because YouTube just admitted that it was the Biden administration censorship pressure that was making them pull these content creators down over their political views. We won't see that. But they also confirmed that the Biden administration wanted Americans censored for speech that did not even violate YouTube policies. Details when YouTube began to rolling back its censorship policies on political speech after Judiciary GOP began its investigation states that public debate should never come at the expense of relying on authorities, promises to never use third-party fact-checkers again, and warns that Europe's censorship laws target American companies and threaten American speech. And Jim Jordan goes on in this thread to highlight what we've seen with the Facebook files that came out in 2023. He highlights what the Biden-Harris administration did under the White House pressure with YouTube changing its policies, really centered around COVID and the elections. Today, YouTube admits that the censorship pressure from the Biden administration was unacceptable and wrong. So as your talking heads are talking about Jimmy Kimmel and the free speech victory, I wonder if they'll also talk about the YouTube decision coming down today in the same vein. They won't, because they're partisan hacks and they're the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. Yep, but we'll talk about it here. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. So Donald Trump has officially designated Antifa as a terror organization, which I think is fantastic. We've seen the order from the White House. If you're watching us on the YouTube stream, it is up there for you. Antifa is a militarist, anarchist enterprise that explicitly calls for the overthrow of the United States government, law enforcement authorities, and our system of law. It uses illegal means to organize and execute a campaign of violence and terrorism nationwide to accomplish these goals. This campaign involves coordinated efforts to obstruct enforcement of federal laws through armed standoffs with law enforcement, organized riots, violent assaults on immigration, customs and enforcement, and other law enforcement officers, routine doxing of and other threats against political figures and activists. Antifa recruits, trains, and radicalizes young Americans to engage in this violence and suppression of political activity, then employs elaborate means and mechanisms to shield the identities of its operatives, conceal its funding sources and operations in an effort to frustrate law enforcement and recruit additional members. Make note of that. Conceal its funding sources. We'll get back to that in a second. Individuals associated with and acting on the behalf of Antifa further coordinate with other organizations and entities for the purpose of spreading, fomenting, and advancing political violence and suppressing lawful political speech. This organized effort designed to achieve to achieve policy objectives by coercion and intimidation is domestic terrorism. Thank you to the White House for finally acknowledging the evil that is Antifa and not going the Biden route with Antifa's an idea. It's an idea. It's not. It's not. Chuck Todd, though, was so upset by this. Chuck Todd, formerly of Meet the Press on NBC, that he jumped on a podcast with, I think it was Don Lemon. Was it Don Lemon? I think it was Don Lemon. And no, it wasn't Don Lemon. It just looked like him for a second. He jumped on this podcast, and he is just so upset that the president has designated Antifa organization, and he's upset that George Soros might be implicated. This is Chuck Todd on the podcast.
It's going to be this executive order where they're going to try to create a new classification for anybody on the left who opposes Trump as somehow a member of Antifa and a terrorist.
Yes.
Like, this is coming. And I don't think we are fully... Now, I don't think there's any... the problem, like, I don't even know what Antifa is. I know what the definition of Antifa is. And
I know what the word means, but it's not a group.
There is no...
These guys are so... Like, they're lying through their teeth. They are. I don't even know what it is. This is why nobody trusts mainstream media anymore. Like guys like Chuck Todd lying through their teeth. And I know this is a podcast. This isn't on an NBC or an ABC, but Chuck Todd, make no mistake about it, is a member of that mainstream media propaganda army.
Group.
No.
And so, but what's dangerous is that by designating it, who's going to define who the group is? And if the Trump administration decides to say, you, George Soros, are a part of this group that I designated, and you're like, no, I'm not. And it doesn't matter. Like, they're going to then use that as some sort of potential opening. And I think that's what's so extraordinarily dangerous.
It's so dangerous that we might go after George Soros. wonder how much the Open Societies Foundation has donated to Chuck Todd when he makes a statement like that. We've seen reporting, and we had Ryan Morrow on last week, and the reporting is wild. You can trace the money of George Soros and the Open Societies Foundation, directly link it to domestic terrorism efforts here. You can directly link it to global terrorism efforts. Oh, golly. Sure hope they don't go after George. He's a good boy. He didn't do nothing. George is just trying to make the world a better place. I hope they go after George Soros. And I hope they go after some of these hacks in the mainstream media for covering for these radical left-wing lunatics. I got another story for you here in the lightning round. Gavin Newsom. This is Gavin Newsom, another leftist who's just insane. He held a press conference the other day, and he said that people are so scared of President Trump that an entire restaurant staff saw Gavin, and they ran up to him, and they started crying.
This is a chill. This is chilling. This is serious. I walked into a restaurant the other day. Entire staff came out, started hugging me and crying. The hell is that? The United States of America. What he's doing to our diverse communities, what he's doing to the fabric of our society.
I want to know the name of the restaurant. Not to give him a hug or anything. I just feel like we found a restaurant that's overdue for an ICE raid. That's just, is that wrong?
Gives me Joe Biden vibes.
It's like, oh, they came out crying. Oh, the whole staff. Well, tell them to stop hiring illegal aliens, and then there's nothing to worry about. That does it for the lightning round. Oh, that's a delay. That storm's in the distance. Are you going to hit the lightning? I said lightning.
I thought I put a little bit of space for old times.
Good. It's 11:53. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I don't know about that Chris Hand guy. Don't trust him. I don't trust those promos.
He's all right.
I don't believe it. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for Zero Res of Nashville. I got 4 kids, 2 dogs, and my mom and dad were watching them all weekend. We have mystery stains. We have mystery stains. The stains that you don't really want to ask about, but you need to clean up. When I need to clean them up, I call Zero Res of Nashville because they use their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue. They're going to clean up those mystery stains, and it's not just going to look insanely clean. It's going to stay clean longer. Now the kids can sprawl back out on the floor. Dogs can roll around. We don't have to worry about what's in the fiber. It's not just carpets. They'll do anything. Air ducts, tile, rugs, upholstery, the works. It's perfect if you're dealing with what I'm dealing with. The grandparents letting the kids run roughshod over the house all weekend long. Right now, you can get some great deals. All you got to do is call Zero Res for the details. 615-535-9376. 615-535-9376. Or find them online, ZeroResNashville.com.